Whoa, stop what you're doing. If you're about to file a VAT return, then I think you need to be watching this video. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to make sure that your VAT return is going to be as accurate as it possibly can be. By doing a few sense checks, making sure that everything's all ready to go, and then making sure that when you do submit your VAT return, you're as confident as you possibly can be. Stay tuned. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I'm a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks Chap on the internet, and also head of account here at Boffix. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about VAT returns. VAT has had a bit of a change in the last couple of years. Now you have to submit via MTD. So we're using the assumption that you're using software to file your VAT return. Now, software is a wonderful solution to filing VAT returns, but you've got to be making sure you're on top of that software. And there's a few sense checks that you can do to give you confidence that when you do press that submit button, this is as accurate as it possibly can be. Now, in this video, we're going to assume you're using a software called QuickBooks Online. If you are impressed with this software, head over to our store, our online store, where we can actually give you a discounted version of QuickBooks Online. So if it's something that looks good to you, head over to the store to get a bit of a discount. Okay, let's jump straight into it and let's go and have a look and see exactly how you can get confidence in filing your next VAT return. Let's have a look. Okay, so first of all, as you can see here, we've just got our QuickBooks Online open at its normal dashboard. When you first log in, this is where you're going to be shown to. But it is actually giving you some important information for our first part of call, and that's directly on the dashboard. As you can see here, well, it's giving me messages about my bank account. It's telling me that there's balances and what the balance is to what the balance is. It's telling me when I last updated. And our first bit of sense check is making sure that bank account is absolutely spot on. So if you think about it, when we're submitting that VAT return, one of the things that we're saying is, well, what movement has happened? What income have we received? What expenses have we incurred? And the main way that we're going to be able to justify all those income and expenditures is what's happened to our bank account. So you need to ensure that you've reconciled your bank to at least the end of whatever VAT period you're about to file. And you want to be making sure that if your bank account says £1,500, that your bookkeeping software is also saying £1,500. They need to agree, because that's your confidence in making sure that you've at least included everything that needs to be included on your bank account. How do we do this in QuickBooks Online? Well, QuickBooks Online has a whole reconciliation process, and it's actually one of the reasons why we choose QuickBooks Online for our clients, because it's giving our clients confidence that they've got everything spot on. If I go to my accounting area down in the bottom here, you'll notice that Reconcile appears directly here for me. When I jump into Reconcile, it's basically going to ask me which bank account it is I want to reconcile against to. Let's choose our business bank account for this one. And as you can see with our business bank account, well, this is a beginning balance of 0 and an ending balance. If I was to say my ending balance was £1,500, and let's just use today's date, then I go in and start the reconciliation process, then QuickBooks is going to do this reconciliation area. Now this is demo data, I've got nothing here to showcase, but what it's doing is it's going through, and down here will be populated all the transactions you wanted to do in this period. And your idea would be to tick each of those transactions to bring this difference down to 0. Let's see how that works properly. Okay, so in this example here, what you can see is that as I scroll down, we've already ticked all of these items that have appeared in my bank account. My beginning balance, that should be what was the beginning balance of my bank statement, and my ending balance of my bank statement. Then QuickBooks has gone through and we've ticked all of these 12 payments and all of these 7 deposits. Now, crucially, you'll notice that, especially in QuickBooks Online, one of the clever bits is it can distinguish between what's actually been added by the bank account. These are these green blobs here. So transactions we can have confidence in. But what transactions that you may have added by mistake or double counted. Now, these transactions that aren't being ticked at the moment, we shouldn't just ignore them. Those transactions mean they're still in the bank account. It's just they've never appeared on the bank statement at this point. Now, sometimes this can be legitimate. Sometimes this can be a transaction that you know is about to hit the bank account, but just from a timing point of view, hasn't hit, and maybe will hit in the next couple of days or so. If that's the case, you're more than welcome to leave that transaction on this page. But any transaction that you know will never hit the bank account, well, you need to adjust for it. How do we adjust? On QuickBooks Online, it makes it really simple. The transaction you can click into and press the edit button just here. From here, that transaction will appear on the screen. I can change maybe my payment account if actually it never came out of my NatWest account and it actually came out of my cash on hand. Or I can go to more and I can delete the transaction completely if I know this transaction should never have been in QuickBooks. Either way, I'm in control, and because I know it's not appearing in my bank account, I know I need to do some form of adjustment, like moving it to my cash on hand, to make sure that it doesn't appear on this list and isn't going to be something that's going to cause me issues later down the line. Once I press finish now, I get this wonderful big tick here, giving me the confidence that I've reconciled this bank account, therefore I'm comfortable that everything's correct. Press done. So that's step number one. But don't just do your main bank account. Look at your credit card account you may have attached. Look at your petty cash. Is that in a realistic position? If it's negative, well, we can't have negative petty cash. So what's gone wrong there? Look at all of your bank items. Go through each one of them before filing a VAT return and just make sure that you got everything correct. The next one is a particular bugbear of mine, and that's making sure your customers and suppliers are in a position where you understand that they are correct. You see, QuickBooks again gives you lots of opportunity to find out what's going on. Straight from my customer page, I've got this money bar on the top, telling me what's overdue and what's open. Now, if I click into this overdue button here and have a look at the money that's been shown down here, I should have confidence that I am still due that money, that they haven't paid and for some reason I haven't updated QuickBooks, or that there's an issue there, that there's something I need to look into in more detail. Either way, as my business, I should be going through these numbers and I should be ensuring and making sure that these overdue amounts are correct. How do I do that? Well, I click into any of them. As I jump into Aaron Patrick, these transactions here with overdue on, well, is that correct? It's a little bit odd in this case where I've got overdue items after the ones that have been paid. So to me, it may mean I need to go and do something about this one. Really simple if I have to do something. Again, click into any of these transactions, bring them up, either mark them as paid from a particular source or do more and delete if there's any reason for you to delete that transaction. Especially if you're on cash accounting, making sure your debtors and creditors is absolutely essential. When you file that VAT return, you should be confident that whatever debtors and creditors you're leaving over are correct to your business. And anything else could possibly be a duplication. So for example, the money has been received in your bank account for a particular sales invoice. Instead of marking it as received against that sales invoice, you've just created a new sales invoice, which can duplicate that income, maybe even making you actually pay that VAT twice. Having confidence in what your debtors and creditors are is going to be a surefire way to make sure that you're ready to file that VAT return. They're the simple ones to go through. Now, you need to start looking a bit outside the box. So we've made sure our bank accounts are connected. We've made sure that our debtors and creditors are correct. So that's all data that's gone in that should be expected to be in your bookkeeping solution. But what about stuff that isn't there? Well, that's where you want to be making sure that you've incurred all your cash expenses. Now, QuickBooks does really well to help this. One of the best solutions they have is just having their mobile app ready and waiting to go. On the mobile app, you can go and quickly snap a receipt. When you snap a receipt, your camera will come up, take a photo, and you are off to the races in terms of being able to record transactions. You see, QuickBooks Online will extract that receipt and actually bring that into QuickBooks Online using magic called OCR technology, meaning you don't have to type any of that information in. What's even more cool is that that means that you don't have to forget about any expenses. So if you just incurred a cash expense or you paid for it on your own personal card because you didn't have your business card on you, make sure you take a photo of it, get it into QuickBooks Online, let QuickBooks do the hard work, and then make sure that you don't miss out on that all-important expense. Finally, let the software help you. We've been promoting QuickBooks Online on this video for a very good reason, and that's because it gives confidence to that customer to make sure they're ready to submit that VAT return. Nothing more confidence building than a built-in error checker. You see, on this screen here, I've got an open VAT return to complete. All I need to do is use this drop-down arrow, move down, and use error check this return. Once I do that, QuickBooks is going to go through and make sure that everything's okay. It's going to tell me what transactions I put to no VAT, therefore not on the VAT return. I should be expecting to see things like transfers and wages and anything that has no VAT relevance whatsoever. You'll also have an opportunity to see if any of those bank accounts have any transactions still to review. So in this case, I still have 3 transactions on my tied account that relate to that period. I really must have them covered and being posted before I file my VAT return, because I could be missing out on crucial information that's relevant to my VAT return. So I'm going to do a bit of machine learning, see if there's any duplicates for you, see if there's any inconsistent VAT codes, and any items that may cause an exception. An exception in QuickBooks Online is basically saying that you made a transaction once on one VAT return previously, and now you've amended it, or you've omitted it from that return. Either way, that's crucial data that's amending a previous VAT return. So you need to be making sure that you are happy that those exceptions are correct, and they're not just some silly error that's creeped in. Any of these, you can click the Review Now button, check that transaction, and press All Done. In this case, it looks like that we had a transaction back in 2021. We filed it 1,200, but now we're actually going to file it and make it 0. And finally, one of my favourite bits is the largest income transactions, largest expenses transactions. Well, if you are claiming for some large expense or income in a period, make sure you've got an attachment against it. Make sure you've put the correct VAT element to it. Make sure that everything's okay, that if you did get an investigation, that you know exactly what to do about it. And finally, a nice little breakdown of VAT codes and VAT for income and expenses. Making sure that they're consistent. Are you consistently putting bank charges to exempt, as they should be? Or are you putting them to exempt sometimes and 0 other? That's what that's designed to find for you. And there we have it. Some pro tips on how to make sure that you have confidence in your VAT return before you submit it. Again, we do promote the use of QuickBooks Online on this channel, and especially to our clients. And if you would like a copy of QuickBooks Online at a discounted rate, head over to the store now using the link below. Also, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and everything else to this channel. The more people who know about how to make sure their VAT return's correct, the better it's going to be for everybody. So please do share and subscribe. My name's been Patrick. As always, it's been an absolute pleasure to do this video for you. Can't wait to see you in the next video. So bye for now.